Hello guys, I'm back with another video. This is a video that I plan to do more of in the future. Basically make videos where I'm discussing things and kind of hearing your guys' opinion on the topics as well. So today's topic is 5 ways that StarCraft 2 can or could have been improved over the years, and I'm not really sure why Blizzard never did any of these things. So I'm gonna go through 5 different things and kind of give my thoughts about it, and at the end, like I said, I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. So first things first is, we know that StarCraft 2 is a one-on-one focused game. It's something that's always been like that, but the question is why? We all know that team games do much better than solo games. We know that a lot of people quit StarCraft because they played alone. They felt like it's a loner game. You couldn't play with friends. It just didn't really seem like a team game. And I'm not really sure why Blizzard never tried to address this. Never tried to give some other things in StarCraft more of a spotlight in order to get more people to play things like 2v2s, Archons, free-for-all, arcades, and kind of promote them to everyone and not just have it in the game. So what I mean by this is, let's start with 2v2s. I played a couple of tournaments in 2v2s, and I had a lot of fun playing them. I think that 2v2s is pretty much dead in StarCraft 2 as far as, you know, high-level players enjoying them. There are some players playing, you know, for fun, but no one really takes it seriously. And I feel like this is one of the things that if Blizzard gave it a chance, for example, hosted a month-long or 3-month-long season where, you know, they would add a prize pool, whether it's $1,000, $5,000, whatever, it would kind of have a lot of players, get a lot of players' interest in actually trying it and practicing for it. Because right now there's no, you know, reason for competitive players to play 2v2 other than, oh, I'm playing with a new friend that just started out, and that's it. Like I said, it is a loner's game, and I think 2v2 in StarCraft can be something amazing and something super popular because team games are just more popular in general. I think a lot of people's arguments is 2v2 is imbalanced. You know, certain races are OP, certain strategies are, you know, broken, you can't hold them. I think that's all just not true. I played a lot of 2v2s. Like I said, I played a lot of 2v2s in tournaments. I think 2v2 is just not played enough by the high-level players to give, you know, opinion of this is broken or this is fine. And if Blizzard took the initiative to, like I said, promote this in a competitive way, maybe have, you know, a 2v2 tournament every WCS event besides the one-on-one event, that's maybe casted by someone like Base Trade TV or Wardy. Doesn't have to be on the mainstream. Just give it a little bit more exposure and just give it a little bit of a chance and kind of the reason to grow, I guess, and have people play it. I do think it's a missed opportunity from Blizzard. We did see some 2v2s in Brood War, and it's not a thing for everyone, of course, but I think it's something unexplored, and yeah, I love 2v2s. The next thing I want to talk about is the Archon Mode. Now, this is something that's added into the game. A lot of people were very hyped. Everyone was like, oh my god, Archon Mode is going to be amazing. And we kind of saw, I would say, flop. Pretty hard. People were very interested in the beginning. I remember everyone was trying it out, everyone was playing it. But it failed for the same reason why 2v2 is not as popular, because it is fun, it's okay, but that's what it is at the end of the day. For some of you that may not know, there was a Archon tournament hosted by Red Bull. Shout out to Mr. Bitter for setting it up. And that event for me, I was playing that event for me was amazing. That was the first time ever in StarCraft that I felt I was playing with someone. I was a team. I was a part of the team. It felt like a team game, even though, you know, it was one-on-one, but you had to work together. And they basically hosted a tournament that didn't get a lot of exposure, was not promoted by Blizzard, and it was very unfortunate. I remember there were like 4 events on that weekend hosted at the same time, so not many people saw it, but every single player that played at that event loved it. They loved how the strategies developed, how many different things 2 players can do, you know, by playing one race, I guess. I'm not sure how to call it exactly. And people watching it could see like, wow, these guys are doing so many things at the same time, because instead of having 300 APM average, teams would have like 500 to 700 APM, which was, well, literally like twice as many actions, and there was action everywhere. The games were super exciting, and because the tournament didn't do well, that's where the Archon just pretty much died out. Archon is something that needs to be practiced, like any team game. Doesn't matter if it's StarCraft or MOBA or a shooter. You need to practice it, and I think that 2 players that play together in Archon and are well practiced against another team that's also like equal skill and well practiced will produce way better games than one-on-one games. Simply because one of the players will be focusing on macro, and then the other player will only be focusing on microing units. So instead of seeing, you know, a random drop just dying because the player playing alone didn't, you know, manage it or didn't see it, now suddenly all the actions in the map are perfectly microed, and there's just action everywhere. That's another thing that I really wish Blizzard kind of looked into and organized some, not necessarily Archon show matches, because if you organize an Archon show match for $100, no one's going to care to practice, right? But if you made it a thing that, you know, maybe there's qualifiers, maybe it goes into like qualifiers and then playoffs, and then top 2 teams go to a WCS event to show off Archon Mode. Not only that would show a different side of StarCraft, a team game kind of version of StarCraft, but it would also kind of pique interest of a lot of people, like, oh, maybe I should, you know, try this. Because I think a lot of people know what the Archon is, Archon Mode. They kind of gave it a go, but that's as far as it goes. And I think it's, again, another missed opportunity. One more thing that I wanted to discuss as far as this goes is the arcade tournaments. Now, we all know that from Warcraft 3 that arcade games were extremely popular, and they still are popular in StarCraft 2. Once again, Blizzard doesn't really do anything about them. There are in-game tournaments, which you guys know, but they're very boring. You do one, I remember when they came out, the in-game tournaments, kind of like for Warcraft 3, and I remember playing and I was like, oh, that's so cool, but then there's no reason to play them. And I think one of the things Blizzard could do is have weekly or even daily automatic arcade tournaments that would give either some kind of points towards portrait unlocking or towards unlocking skins in game, just some kind of rewards, and kind of swap out the arcade games every time. So on Monday you would have, I don't even know what the arcade games exist. Like, let's say Footmen. The second day they would have another arcade game, and it kind of switches, and then you would see very kind of more competitive and just more reason to play those arcade games and maybe practice for them and develop strategies, and eventually maybe have them featured at, like I said, again, at the tournament. Because I'm not someone that plays arcade games, but if there was a super popular arcade map and 2 of the absolute best players or 3 best players would play it, I would watch it. I would be interested. Because I think we all tried arcade maps, you know, whether we were actively playing them or not. We tried them, and I would love to see what players that actually put in time and effort doing them, because I think that no matter what game or map you play, it's always really nice and kind of satisfying to see someone play at the highest level possible and kind of do strategies that you've never seen before. Now, the last thing for this first one was, well, the previous one wasn't the last thing. The last thing is the automated tournaments for FFA, Archon, 2v2s, arcade tournaments, and rewards. Like I said, I wish there was a system in StarCraft 2 that would give you points. So let's say you get 10 points every time you win a tournament on Battle.net for whatever, arcade, FFA, 2v2 Archon, and then to unlock a portrait you would need a minimum of 200 points. So this gives something for the players to work towards to. You don't have to be a one-on-one player to get those portraits or unlock those portraits. You could play, you know, different kind of games, whether it's 2v2, 3v3, whatever your thing is, and it would give you kind of something to work towards this. So maybe you log in and today you're missing only 20 points. You're like, okay, let's play, you know, let's play today's tournament and see what I can do. And you could have those portraits or skins unique to those online Battle.net tournaments. So you would actually need to put in time, put in effort, and you would have something unique and something cool that not everyone has. Now, second thing, this is something that a lot of people might laugh at me for, but hear me out. The second thing I wanted to talk about is competitive co-op. Yes, you've heard it right, competitive co-op. I know a lot of people's reaction will be like, lol, that's stupid. How can that even be competitive? And no one would watch that. I don't know if everyone would watch it. I don't know if half of the people in StarCraft would watch it. But I think many people would give it a try and just, you know, pay attention if it was hosted once and once again given the chance. WoW is one of the games that I know does this. They host competitive PvE tournaments, whether it's raiding or dungeon clearing. They host it and it's very, very popular. So for those that don't play WoW, recently a new expansion came out, and there was a raid called Uldir, and basically all the top PvE guilds were trying to get world first of killing the last boss. And the stream, one of the biggest guilds stream, had over 100,000 viewers watching it. And you might say that, yes, but WoW is a PvE game, you know, it's not going to work in StarCraft. Again, as someone that did play co-op, not too much, I'm not a hardcore co-op player, I would love to see at a WCS event, at BlizzCon, to see the best kind of like, not speedrunners, but just players in co-op playing on brutal mutation, maybe increase the difficulty even more and see how fast they can finish the maps, and just have prize pools for that. Or don't even have prize pools, just give people portraits. It's very simple. I know there's, from my stream, there's so many people that love playing co-op, but it's kind of like you're just mindlessly grinding and playing. But imagine if you had a goal, right? Your goal, just like in one-on-ones, is I want to reach GM. Maybe if you're really into competitive co-op or co-op, you're trying to find ways to cut the time you can finish the mission in. You're trying to find the best combo of commanders for these specific missions, and then when you go to a tournament or whatever you want to call it, then everyone would have different strategies. People would be preparing like how to do it and how to do it the fastest way possible. They would cheese the maps, and this is something I would love to see. Again, it's unexplored. Together, co-op and the previous things that I mentioned, 2v2 and Archon, obviously I'm not expecting every WCS event to have all of these things, but why not, you know, next WCS event, 2019, the first one, why not have a super competitive 2v2 tournament? Host a league online, top 4 teams, go there and battle it out. The next WCS event, have a competitive co-op tournament. Get, 4, 6, 8, whatever, best teams in the world and have them battle it out. I would personally love to see that, and it would be very refreshing and kind of pull in different viewers than your regulars that watch just one-on-ones and nothing else, because StarCraft is not just one-on-ones. A lot of people are playing 2v2s, a lot of people are playing arcades, a lot of people are playing team games, co-op. I don't know if you guys knew, but sometime a couple of months ago, there were more people playing co-ops than one-on-ones. But why is no attention given to the co-op community? And yeah, Just give it a go, Blizzard. What can go wrong? What can go wrong? Third thing I wanted to talk about is this is something that always kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. And it is StarCraft 2 Brawl and challenges. So if you guys are a Blizzard fan like I am, and you played other Blizzard games, you will know that every Blizzard game has brawls. WoW has brawls, Hearthstone has brawls, Heroes of the Storm has brawls. And for those who don't know, Brawl is a weekly thing that has something weird in it. Whether it's kind of like something is changed in the game itself, or the map is different. Something is different, kind of like a challenge, and you get different rewards when you complete the Brawl. So I can't remember what exactly the rewards are in each game, but again, for StarCraft, that could be portraits, which are the easiest thing, skins. Instead of having to buy the whole skin chest, why not have one of the Brawls unlock just one skin for a Marine? That would not cut into the war chest sales at all, but again, it would give the players incentive to play. So I'll give some like silly examples which can be literally taken from the campaign. So let's say basically next to 1-on-1 2v2s there's StarCraft 2 Brawl, and let's say this week's StarCraft 2 Brawl is every time banelings die, they explode and 2 little banelings come out of them. The games are still 1-on-1 or 2v2, whichever one you pick, but you would have to specifically pick Brawl for this to happen. So I don't mean for all 1-on-1 games to be like this. And then let's say you kill a Zealot. If the Zealot is, for example, you kill a Zealot and it has reincarnation. Banelings have that thing to split, and Terrans, I don't know, like let's say Hellions split into 2 little bikes that are super fast and are, you know, shooting single target damage. A lot of these things you can take from co-op and from the campaign. You don't really need to put in effort to create more units. You can just copy from the co-op and campaign. It already exists. And that way it would, let's say, like I said, this week is the Zealot, the Baneling, and the Hellion changes. So no matter what race you are, you would be very focused on those units. So maybe you would be trying mass Baneling strategies. Maybe you would be using burrowed Banelings the whole time. Maybe your unit comps, instead of doing Colossus Stalker, which is, let's say, something you usually do, you would go for mass Zealot something else, because, you know, that's what the Brawl is. And maybe that transitions into your 1-on-1 gameplay. You're like, oh, Zealots are pretty cool. I can kind of tinker a little bit with them in the regular games. And just kind of experience different things. Create a different way to play StarCraft. And like I said, I always wondered why this doesn't exist. I don't really know. Like I said, I don't think it requires any production because it's in the game already. Challenges is something that, if you're Wings of Liberty player, you will remember when you installed StarCraft and you play a couple of games and then you saw challenges tab. And you had, I think, 9 challenges that you could complete. And I love those. You, for example, for those who don't know, you would have like 10 units, let's say 5 infestors and 5 roaches, I'm just throwing random numbers, and you needed to kill like 7 siege tanks and 20 marines, and you need to use your neural, your fungal, your infested Terrans to complete that, but you have to use them in a really smart way. So it's not one-on-one. It's a very kind of situational thing that makes you think, and again, kind of like prepares you for different situations, and that's something you can apply in your one-on-one games. I remember when I did those challenges, I did some of those things in my one-on-one games. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. You know, for example, I just remembered a challenge. There was a challenge with, like I said, infested Terrans and tanks. And that's where I figured you can throw infested Terrans next to the siege tanks so the siege tanks would shoot one another. And those challenges would be so much fun to do over and over, and maybe have like have the challenge last for a month and then have monthly best and reward that person with, guess what? A portrait. A portrait, a medal, something. Again, give people a reason to play your game and not just brainlessly grind 1-on-1s and 2v2s. Like I said, I've been playing Blizzard games for a long time, and I think WoW does this really well with the events and the achievements. You have events, you complete them, you get something. And I would love to see that in StarCraft. Just because it's an RTS doesn't mean that people don't care about those things. I thought those were really fun. Anyway, moving on. Fourth thing. Featuring streamers inside of StarCraft 2. This is something that I've seen in other Blizzard games, and they actually started doing this recently on Battle.net with a couple of streamers. But I would like to see this more often. If a player is doing certain series, maybe a replay analysis, or let's say on Monday 9 p.m., why not put it in the game? Obviously, you're not going to host, people that have 2 viewers, or you're not going to host people that, are unprofessional, but promote your streamers. Like, they're the ones that are promoting your game, and a lot of people in StarCraft still don't know anything about Twitch and streaming. So, why not? Give it a go. Do it. Just give them a shout out. That's all you need. I'm not saying to give them your channel. Just give them a shout out. And another big thing connected to this. When was this? Was it January? I can't remember. Let's say January. Although I can't remember the exact month. You guys will probably know. You're smart. There was a month period, if I remember correctly, maybe 3 weeks, where Blizzard was giving, guess what? Portraits and in-game if you watched streams on StarCraft. And the StarCraft viewership, like, blossomed. It was like some streamers were having 3 times more viewers, because now all of a sudden, instead of someone just grinding ladder, they would turn on the stream, maybe mute it, pay attention to it on the other screen, play their games, but all the viewers had higher streaming numbers. It was pushing StarCraft on Twitch on higher plays because everyone had more viewers, and it just gave more exposure to everyone. Let's say you have no freaking idea what streaming is, and in game you see, watch Twitch StarCraft 2 streams in order to for a chance to get a drop or loot box or whatever you want to call it. And then that Potato Joe is going to be like, oh, let me check that out. So he opens Twitch and he watches, someone, whatever. And he's like, oh, this is pretty interesting. This guy's high level. I can learn from him and I can absorb a lot of the information, and he gets more and more interested. Maybe he starts supporting the streamer. Maybe he tells his friends that also don't know what Twitch is, and it just promotes the game. And as we all know, Twitch and streaming is a very, very big way of promoting your own game, Blizzard. Why not? Why not? We want to see that more. I mean, even I personally don't watch StarCraft 2 streams. I watch tournaments. I don't watch first-person streams. I had streams open all day, and I was watching them because of that drop. I would open stream, I would mute it, and then I'd be like, oh, let me see, people are spamming something in the chat, let me see what it's all about. And then I would watch the stream more. That's something I would love to see happen more often. Doesn't need to be 24/7, but make it, happen one week in the whole month, and then the next month have different portraits. So it's kind of like, if you don't watch streams that week, you might miss on a portrait, so you want to get it. Maybe in a couple of months the portraits return, and so on and so on. Fifth thing that I wanted to discuss, which is the last thing, is achievements in game. Once again, as someone who has played WoW and is playing WoW now, I love doing achievements. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, because it's not really popular in StarCraft 2. But I love doing achievements. When I bought Wings of Liberty, I was playing everything from those challenges to one-on-ones to team games. I loved all of it. But one thing that I really love doing is the achievements. And I remember there were so many achievements. I'm probably gonna have a brain fart and not remember any. But for example, I just got one. There was an achievement to heal 500 health with a single roach. So you would have to, again, adjust your playstyle. You would have to go roaches in a game, get one roach, get burrow, get roach burrow movement, and then you would have to harass and try to heal 500 health in one single game to get that achievement. There was an achievement, I think, to kill 20 or 50 units with a single nuke. There was an achievement to do a fast expand, like a command center first. And I love doing those. I had so much fun doing those because some of them were really weird. Like there was a achievement to, or still is, I mean, to kill 20 units with Seeker Missile, which, by the way, soon you won't be able to do because Ravens are going to do 0 damage, but, you know, if you want to do it, now's probably the time. So all these achievements were so fun to me to do. Again, it was extra content, and I would really, really love to see more achievements in StarCraft, whether it's connected to arcade games, whether it's connected to one-on-ones, Archon. Why is there no achievement win 100 matches in Archon? Why is there no achievement have 600 APM together in Archon mode, together with your ally? Why is no achievement win a game in 3 minutes in Archon mode, in 2v2 mode? Those are like very, very simple ones. You can have specific units. Have, for example, kill 100 units with disruptors in one game. Feedback, kill 10 units with feedback in a single StarCraft 2 game. There's so much that can be done with it, and again, doesn't matter if you're a hardcore one-on-one player or maybe you're just a casual that loves doing achievements and you never play with certain types of units. These kinds of things would push you into that direction, like give it a go. Let's say you never make disruptors. This would force you, if you wanted to complete the achievement, to go disruptors and test them out. Maybe you like them, maybe you play a little bit more with them. It opens you up to a completely new playstyle. And I put this as last because I'm not sure how people feel about achievements. I know some people just don't care about them, but I think they bring a lot of value and just kind of more content into the game without actually putting content, if that makes sense. Like, you're not adding anything new. You're just telling people, you're just giving challenges to people in-game to complete for some achievements. Now, that is it from all the things that I want to discuss. Now, the last thing I want to address is, I know what people are going to say. I can already hear it in my head. Do you know how much money this costs? Or do you know that this actually costs money? I do. I do. We have battle chests in game. Is that what they're called? Battle chests? That support WCS events. So why not? Check this out. I'm gonna go back to this one. Why not have skins and portraits that we can buy, and the proceedings would go towards these things that I just mentioned? I understand from Blizzard's point of view, StarCraft is not the most profitable game compared to the other games because there's no pay to win, there's no buying stuff 24/7. I know that StarCraft is not making you bank. StarCraft is just a game that's been going on for so long and you can't just ditch it. But even when StarCraft was at its prime, when it was the biggest game, these things were not implemented. And it kind of makes me sad because I think StarCraft could have been and can be so much more. I think all these things, if tried out, if added, can bring so many of the old people and just have so many people enjoy the game once again. I would, like, all these things, I would love doing them. I would love watching the streams. And I really, really hope that Blizzard, you know, perhaps considers some of these things. It's one of those things like, Blizzard, give us portraits, give us stupid portraits and skins to buy. Let us give you our money so the proceedings can go for these things. I would love to, you know, buy a portrait for $5 and have those $5 or $3 or $2 out of those $5 go towards a 2v2 tournament or an Archon tournament that can be at a WCS event in between the main tournament. You don't need to take a whole day for it. It just add it there. It's more content. Come on. But that's it. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think about all of these things, about these 5 ways to improve StarCraft. I want to do more of this kinds of videos where I discuss things, whether it's balance related, design related, ways to improve StarCraft. So please let me know if you enjoyed it, and please let me know if you have any more ideas for the future videos that you would like to see me discuss. One of the things I wanted to discuss in future is 2v2s and the problems with 2v2s. And I wanted to discuss game design in StarCraft 2. Not balance, game design. Once again, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out one of my previous videos. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys next time.